Well, hello and welcome back. I'm glad you could join me again. Before I get started, I want to remind you to, if you're following me on Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook at Midnight Rider. And if you do, like and share the video, I appreciate it. And if you would like to follow me on YouTube, it's Charles Cook 52. Like and share there as well, and ring the bell. Click the bell so you'll get notifications when I upload the video. And same thing on Rumble. If you want to follow me on Rumble, you can find me on there as Charles Cook 52 as well. And please follow me on there. Follow me on all three of them, and I'd greatly appreciate it. Well, today, um, this video topic's been on my mind for over a week now, and I guess I've tried to put it off, but it just won't go away, and so that tells me I really need to do it. So, and I hope it makes sense for you, but it does for me, and I think it should resonate with all of us. And so, with that being said, we have an election season coming up, and for state and county offices, and then federal elections will be in November as well. And so, with all that in the back of my mind, I keep going back to James chapter 1, verse 22 in the Bible. And it says, "Be ye doers of the word, not just hearers of the word." And if we're not doers of the word, we're deceiving ourselves. And that stuck with me for a while. And you're like, well, Charlie, what's that got to do with anything? Well, I'll try to explain it to you. So, as I said, in here it says, "Be ye doers of the word," not just hearers. Don't do you no good just read it or hear somebody preach about it, but you got to apply it to your life, and you got to do it. Okay, and that's the way we make changes in our lives, in our families, in our communities. Is if we get back to this, that's how it will make changes. Well, the same thing with this, the Constitution. A lot of people want to read it. They want to give it to their politicians. Their politicians that carry it around their jacket pocket, and they'll say, "Oh, this is my guiding force. This right here is what guides me when I go represent my constituents." And they're lying through their teeth because they don't have a clue what's in here. They may have read it, but they don't do it. Be doers of the Constitution. Okay, so I heard a congressman one time talking about back when Obama was in office, and he was talking about funding the omnibus bill and stuff. And in that bill, there was money going to fund abortion, Planned Parenthood. And he's fundamentally against abortion, and there's no way I support that. I'm a God-fearing Christian, and I'm against that. But he voted for the bill. And you can't say one thing and then do something else. Back to what I'm saying here. If you have a man standing in front of your congregation at work, at church, man or woman, however you believe, if there's a man standing in front of your congregation at church and he's preaching this, and then he's out, once he leaves church, he's out living like the world, sleeping with every woman that he can, drunk, doing drugs, whatever, living like the world. He's not separated himself from the world. You're not going to follow him, and you shouldn't. Why do we do politicians the same way when they do this? We should know and understand this Constitution. And whenever these politicians, they go against our United States Constitution, the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, we should not reward them with our votes. There's nothing that says that we have to reward politicians for bad behavior. And I don't care what the excuse is. Well, it was for the good of the people. Yeah, it might. You could say it was unconstitutional, but it was for the good of the people. The Slick Willie approach. We got to do it for the children. If it's unconstitutional, it's wrong by what they took an oath to, and we shouldn't let it slide. You know, it reminds me of a story of David Crockett. It's called "It's Not Yours to Give," and I advise you to look it up. There's videos on YouTube about it. You can find it. Google it. It's not yours to give. It's about a Tennessee man when he come back home, found out that David Crockett had voted to appropriate money for fires for victims of fires up in Georgetown, right outside of Washington, D.C., and appropriated money that it wasn't his to vote to give. That those tax dollars belong to the people for the function of the United States government, not to be given out to charities. And the man took him to task, and he told the great David Crockett, "I'll never vote for you again because you went against your oath." So we have to become, if we want to change anything in this country, we have to change us first. It don't do no good to sit down and read this. It don't do any good to go to church and listen to this being preached unless we let it change our lives. We have to be doers of this. And it's the same thing here. We can't call ourselves patriots and walk around with one of these in our pocket and handing them out, giving them to politicians and our friends and everything, hollering, "You need to read this. This is the only thing that's going to save our country." No, this will not save our country unless we apply it to it. You can step out in front of a freight train with this and it won't stop that freight train. You can stand in front of a politician and tell him, "You got to uphold this," but until you start voting them out of office for not upholding their oath, then that's when we'll make changes. Not until then. We have to be doers, not just hearers. And if we are not doers and we are just hearers and readers, then we are deceiving ourselves to think that we are patriots, because patriots will not vote for people who destroy this Constitution. And I mean, this is, like I said, this has been on my heart for over a week now. And I've tried to get away from it. I can't do it. We have so got away from what this country was founded on. This right here in the Declaration of Independence. And if we read the Declaration of Independence first, because so many times we hear politicians say, "Well, we haven't raised your taxes. I don't understand what you're so upset about." It's about freedoms and liberties. It's not about taxes. Most people do not know that the word tax is in the Declaration of Independence just one time. Yet our schools will tell us, well, taxation without representation, the T-tax and all this and that. The word tax is in the Declaration of Independence one time, and that's it. This is about, our declaration was about our rights and freedoms being trampled on and taken away by tyrannical government. You know, locking in your homes, you can't go out without a mask on, stuff like that. Think about it. But the only thing that changes, the only way this is going to change is when we change ourselves into what we do, and then we hold other people to the standard that we are living ourselves. It don't do no good to act like one way and go out and do the other. If we talk about, oh, the Republicans, we can't support the Democrats because they don't support this. What they do is unconstitutional. And then we turn a blind eye when the Republicans do it. You know, when somebody bans bump stocks by executive order, yeah, that was a Republican president. Freedoms and liberties don't have a party affiliated to it. Our rights come from God, our creator, and it says so right here. We got to be doers, not just hearers, not just readers, because if we don't, we're just deceiving ourselves, and we're deceiving our kids, our grandkids, and we're going down the hill quick. And the only way to fix it is fix ourselves. John Adams said that our Constitution is for religious and moral people. Where does that tell you where we're at today? We don't even know what genders we are. The 459 types of genders. Moral and religious people. Our Constitution is wholly inadequate for those people that are not moral and religious people. And we wonder why our Constitution is not working anymore, because we're not moral and religious people anymore. We fall for everything. We become hearers and readers, and we're not doers. And that is my spiel. And I'm glad I got it off my chest, because I don't know if I just call this Charlie's rant or what, but I just had to say it. I mean, until we start enforcing these people to uphold their oath of office and stop voting for these people, these politicians that are so against us. I mean, it makes me sick to hear a man, and I'll just give you his name, Phil Rowe. Congressman Phil Rowe was the one who was on the radio show in Northeast Tennessee with a man that I have a lot of respect for. And the man asked him about supporting an omnibus bill that had helped fund Planned Parenthood. And he said, well, you take a little bit of this and you take a little bit of that and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. A lot of it, some of it you may not like, but you mix it together and you make a sausage. And you make sausage. And you're making sausage out of funding killing babies. And I have no respect for someone like that. And I dare them call themselves a Christian. And I'll finish with that. That's why I feel the way I do. We got to be doers. Can't be hearers. We're deceiving ourselves if we don't. So as I said, follow me on Midnight Rider on Facebook, and give it a like and give it a share. Follow me on Rumble, Charles Cook 52, and on YouTube at Charles Cook 52. And I hope you have a blessed day, a blessed work week. And until then, we'll see you with our next video. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.